Hi everybody, it's Cash, and I wanted to share something with you that's happened to me over the past few days that I found immensely reassuring. If you're a regular viewer to the other channel, you will know that maybe a couple of years ago, I did pictures for the actor, singer, general, all-round super talented guy, Jamie Foxx. He'd had some kind of health emergency. Nobody really knew what. It seemed as though it might be a stroke, but we weren't told. And many viewers were very, very concerned that he was okay, and would I do pictures for him? I don't normally do celebrity pictures, but since so many people asked, I did them. And what they showed was that he was approaching a time in his life when he would have to change, when something was going to have to give, and he would look out over the landscape of his life and say, okay, I can't do that anymore. Or at least his soul would be urging that. His ego might say, but I'm so successful. I've made a ton of movies. I've won an Oscar. I've made highly popular albums and so on. I'm very, very famous. His ego would say that. I've got to continue. But his soul was saying, you need to change. And his body, as a result, was saying the same thing. If he made a change, going to the left usually means a new formula, a new way forward. If he went to the left, then he could find that new path that would take him to a better, less strenuous perhaps, and satisfying stage of his life. Well, on Saturday night, I went out on a boat with friends. We didn't really go out on the boat very much. We just sat in the dock eating. But while we were sitting there, who comes up to the boat but Jamie Foxx? He has a boat of his own on the same lake that we were on. He comes bearing a bottle of champagne. For some reason, he wanted to tell us, complete strangers, he wanted to tell us about his new TV show. But I don't watch TV, so I wasn't terribly interested. But as he was talking, I got pictures for him. I almost wanted to tell him what the pictures were, because it seemed like a message from his angels. But it's not my place to start imposing my pictures on other people, so I didn't say anything. But what I saw initially was Jamie Foxx as a somewhat crumpled marionette. This would apply physically too, by the way, because apparently he lost the ability to walk for a while. He had to learn again. Maybe that was a stroke thing or some kind of brain trauma thing. And he seemed slow, deliberate, a bit stiff, as though he was still recovering, which is probably likely. But he was lovely. Very, very friendly, generous man. The way forward for him had two very distinct sides. There was a dark side and a very light, glowing side. The dark side, I thought, was the path of the ego. Stay on this path, and you are once again ignoring the call of your soul. His soul, the puppeteer, this higher self, was trying to get him to go down the light path, the most edifying path, the one that would bring him harmony and peace and a sense of connection and so on. While his ego was saying, no, stay over here. More fame, more money, more success. But his soul was trying to protect him, was trying to guide and guard him and prevent him having another episode like he had before. Now, while that was interesting as a standalone incident, it reminded me of something that happened last Thursday. I went to the dentist. I don't often go to the dentist. My teeth may not look great, but they're very strong. And so I go rarely. But I had a little bit of a cavity coming, and I went to have a filling. While I was lying in the chair and the dentist was doing his thing in my mouth, I thought, I wonder what the energy is like for this situation. And so I did pictures for that situation. And there was a disc of light, not the light the dentist has shining on you, but an actual flat disc of light over me. And coming from that disc of light were sinews of lightning, I suppose, connecting the light to my body all the way up, little sparks and sinews of light. Meaning that we are watched over at all times. When we need it, when we're being violated, I suppose, by the dentist or by doctors or whatever it is, when something internal is going on, the forces of the universe, the unseen forces that are looking after us, rally their troops, and they make sure we're okay, and they maybe give us extra energy, extra resistance. It was quite stunning to see, actually, at the dentist. And it wasn't too different to what was going on with Jamie Foxx when he was talking and handing over the champagne and whatever. The puppeteer was trying to steer its marionette into the way of the soul, into the natural path for that person. Whereas the ego was pulling him into the darkness, unbeknownst to him. I thought that was fascinating, first of all, but secondly, very reassuring. That, combined with what happened at the dentist, told me that we are not alone ever. We are not abandoned in times of trouble. Our soul and unseen forces are rallying to our cause. We're watched over, we're guarded, we're guided. And we're always being steered in the right direction if we'll just yield, if we'll just surrender and listen, and not use our will to try to make happen what isn't good for us. That's what I took away from that. It was quite remarkable, and I feel very comforted by that. It was interesting, my parents are dead now. My mother died about 30 years ago. My father died about 2 years ago now, 18 months ago. And when I went into his energy recently, there was nothing there. He'd gone. That was the end of our soul contract together, maybe over many lifetimes. But when I went into my mother's energy, remember she died in the 1990s, when I went into my mother's energy, it was like two very large square lights, the kind they use in photographic studios, over me, warmly glowing and shedding light on me. So my mother is still around. Our soul contract is not over, whereas my father's contract with me is over. And I thought that tied in with this whole thing. We are watched over, we are guided, and we don't always know it. Somebody is looking after us and making sure we're okay. All we got to do is listen and surrender, and we'll be all right. Alrighty, just thought I'd tell you. That's been a very, very interesting few days. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.